Oh. Ah. Ah. That's pretty cool.
did. Wait, where are we going?
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
I don't care where here is. Just point me toward adventure. I can't get hauled into Wizard Court again. Technically, I don't have a permit for the gauntlet. Talent, there's no such thing as a light shot. Exploration runs in my family. It's in my blood. comebacks are sort of my specialty. Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
That should clear as shit. Yeah.
Bloodshot, and I'm a little weirder than normal today. It's late. We're reading this video kind of at the last minute because this is sort of something we need to talk about. Also, too, this probably all looks very different than you guys are used to seeing. We moved this video in place of a video that should have been going live, so you guys will, it all makes sense later. There's a video about this. But today we're going to talk about NVIDIA and their continued slimy behavior towards, well, pretty much everybody, but specifically towards the way they're treating a fellow reviewer of mine that, well, there's just a lot to talk about here. So I hate to kind of bring people down with some negative topics to talk about here, but if you're not aware, Hardware Unboxed is a reviewer from down in Australia, a reviewer that I've not seen eye to eye with very often. We have very differing opinions on brands and such, but one thing that we do have in common, and that I'm willing to give him the utmost respect for, is the fact that we are both respected reviewers in our own rights. Different fan bases and different opinions and all that, and that's perfectly fine. That is what makes what we do in new media so exciting, is the fact that when you have a new product that launches, whether it be from AMD, NVIDIA, Intel, Apple, whatever, you can get a ton of different perspectives and opinions on that. Not just a bunch of people that are going to take a megaphone and re-amplify the message that the brands want you to re-amplify. Sure, the brands are going to give you direction about their product, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should learn about the product and its feature sets and stuff, and then take facts from opinions, separate the two, and then you can have what's considered an objective and a subjective opinion at the same time, and everyone wins by just getting all that information as much as possible. So Hardware Unboxed is a fellow reviewer, like I said, and apparently NVIDIA is upset with him. We've got an email here that was shared to Linus, and Linus already shared this publicly on the WAN show, and I apologize that I'm late to all of this. In fact, we spent the last 2 days working on this part of the studio that you guys are seeing right now, and I've not really been on social media at all. So it wasn't until Phil actually asked me if I had heard about the Hardware Unboxed thing that I had literally just sat down and got online for the first time, and then watched and read the portion of this email on the WAN show. And so I didn't want to get too tainted with opinions from Linus before doing this video. I've listened to some things he had to say, very objective things that were like the way reviewers work, and the fact that we're independent opinions and all that sort of stuff, which is fine. But I didn't want to be influenced by any of his rage, because I guess apparently he kind of went triple down on being angry at NVIDIA, which I think is going to be fun to watch, but I've not gotten to that part yet. Let's take the email line by line. This is from Brian Del Rizzo, by the way, but he says, "Hi, Steve. We've reached a critical juncture in the adoption of ray tracing, and it's gained industry-wide support from top titles, developers, game engines, APIs, consoles, and GPUs." First of all, industry-wide support, I think, is a bit of a far-fetched statement there. First of all, we might have more titles now using it than before, but there was 3 titles that it launched with the 20 series, and now I think we're up to 50, maybe. Developers, that's just whoever they throw money at. Let's be honest. Developers, that's just whoever they throw. Developers, that's just whoever they throw money at. Let's be honest. Developers will take whatever money comes their way, and NVIDIA's got plenty of money to spend. And so they spend money with developers to make sure their technologies make it in there. So I wouldn't say the developers are so much adopting it as much as they're literally letting NVIDIA pay for it. Game engines, APIs, consoles, and GPUs. As you know, and first of all, by the console, they mean the Switch, which is running on like old Maxwell Tegra GPU and APU technically. So let's not fool ourselves. AMD is console. As you know, NVIDIA is all in for ray tracing. Ray tracing is an important and core to the future of gaming via their opinion. That's an opinion right there. That's not facts, that's opinion. But it's also part of our focused R&D efforts on revolutionizing video games. So that first opinion is based on the fact that they are all in, like they said. So they're forcing it to be the future because they're banking on it. R&D efforts on revolutionizing video games and creating a better experience for gamers. And by better experience, they mean a dramatic impact to FPS for the sake of shadows, reflections, global illumination through ray tracing and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty, but you take a terrible, terrible performance hit for it. It's better this time around, but still pretty bad. This philosophy is also reflected in developing technologies such as DLSS, Reflex, and Broadcast that offer immense value to customers who are, I hate even reading this whole email because I think what NVIDIA did, I think they honestly knew this NVIDIA, that this NVIDIA email was going to go public. And so they took it as an opportunity to make it a /PR release also with a FU at the end of it. And we'll get to that point in a second. So take everything I'm reading here with a grain of salt. It's nothing more than PR spin doctoring, a bunch of ass kissing because they know that it was going to get seen publicly. So they're kissing your guys' ass by just saying all this and trying to get you guys to believe it. Oh, yeah. And about that, they still have a quote of his about how good DLSS is on their website, like right now. This philosophy is also reflected in developing technologies such as DLSS, Reflex, and Broadcast that offer immense value to customers who are purchasing a GPU. This is now where NVIDIA turns into from a backhanded insult to just a face slap insult. They don't get free GPUs. They work hard for their money, and they keep their GPUs for multiple years. So that's BDR just being conniving. We've heard this argument all the time. And I think most people now who watch our channels, and I say our channels, or read content, whether you do written media and like Anon-Tech and such like that, there's people out there that are ignorant enough to not know the way that this works, and that the transaction that takes place between a review is just that. They are not giving you, or reviewers like myself, a free GPU out of the kindness of their heart. There's nothing kind about NVIDIA's heart. They are simply making a transaction in that they know that, in my case, more than 3 million potential viewers, in Linus's case, more than 12 or 13 million potential reviewers, a hardware unbox, I think 600,000 or 700,000. So they measure the potential ROI of rebroadcasting their message, okay? So it's not out of the goodness of their heart that they're giving us a free GPU. It is strings attached. And that string attached is that you follow through with the review, you educate yourself about the product as best you can to give an accurate review, and then that you will meet a particular deadline. Or, they've never actually said, to NVIDIA's fairness, they've never actually said you need to have it up on this date. It's just you can't have it up before a certain date. That's the embargo. But obviously, we know as reviewers that these are hot topics. We're going to try and hit the dates as best we can. So that's already the fact that shows how disconnected NVIDIA is by even stating the obvious there. People buy products. That's how it works. That's what they're in business to do. At any cost necessary, they're going to sell you a product, and they are selling it, honestly, through us. Despite all this progress, your GPU reviews and recommendations have continued to focus singularly on rasterization performance, which, by the way, makes up more than probably 95% of titles to this date still, and that's probably even a high figure. It's probably more like 98-point-something%. Despite every progress, the GPU reviews and recommendations have continued to focus solely on rasterization performance, and you have largely discounted all other technologies we offer gamers. The only other technology that there's two other technologies that I enjoy and use from NVIDIA. One, DLSS 2.0. DLSS 1.0, it sucked. It was bad. 2.0 is much better, but it took Phil to convince me to do it, not NVIDIA, because I stopped listening to them about DLSS when I saw the experience of 1.0. So it took a peer to get me to even consider it again as a reviewer. Second of all, the NVEC encoder. It's great for what we do. When we do live streams, when we do video encoding, or me personally, the NVEC encoder, although it has a little bit of a quality hit, it is just great to offload when we do our live streams to a GPU, really sitting there not doing much, letting the CPU stay basically, pretty much idle to handle other tasks. Other than that, I don't care about broadcast. I don't care about reflex. I don't care about anything else from the NVIDIA suite, if you want to know the truth. That's subjective, that's me, I don't care about it. To me, it's all marketing fluff. He says, it's clear from your community commentary that you do not see things the way that we, gamers, and the rest of the industry do. Now that's where NVIDIA needs to literally just shut the f up, because first of all, they're trying to lump everybody in the same category. If NVIDIA actually listened to gamers, then they would know that ray tracing is not widely adopted. They would know that the community is more than just themselves, because NVIDIA in this one literally is so tone deaf as to what is happening in the consumer market here. People are buying based on multitudes of experiences, and ray tracing being probably the most minute of them. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has asked me which graphics card they should buy for a reasonable ray tracing experience. Not a single person has asked me what graphics card they should buy for ray tracing, because I think it's obvious. To take the least hit, you need to buy the most expensive card. But the fact that they have the nerve or even the audacity to lump everyone into this statement, and Luke said this best in the WAN show, where this is NVIDIA's attempt at trying to make Steve feel small, in almost trying to round us all up in NVIDIA's own opinion and use it against him, which I think has heavily backfired on NVIDIA. Tone deaf is the only phrase that I can really think of, that they are truly ignorant to what people think about them. And that's simply because of the fact that they make a good product. But making a good product doesn't make you not people think about them. CEO and that's simply company. Because of the fact our Founders Edition boards and other NVIDIA products are being allocated to media outlets that recognize the changing landscape of gaming. CEO Let's stop right there. Let's translate that sentence. Our FE boards and other NVIDIA products are being set aside for people who recognize what we want them to recognize. They are basically saying right there, our products are only for those that share our opinion, which goes back to that whole transactional thing I talked about at the beginning of this email, where it is simply them transacting with us for these reviews, which, by the way, are 100% independent, as much as people may not believe it. I've been in hot water with NVIDIA many times about things that I've said, but that is them just blatantly saying, we give our cards to people that say,